Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of the SEQFC Village Law SEQFC preview show. I'm Darren Lutton, and tonight we only have one guest to talk to, but for very special reasons. It's assistant coach of Peninsula Power, Ben Ryan. G'day, Ben.
Hi, Darren. How's it going? Good night.
It's going good, mate. Good. I've just listened to this week's episode, and I'm still emotionally getting myself back down to normal. It's an amazing story, but we'll come to that shortly. First, let's talk about Peninsula Power. 11 games, 11 wins. You've conceded just 6 goals so far. An amazing start to the season.
Yeah, it's we're happy with it. Obviously, it's been good. We added a couple of experienced lads at the back, as well as obviously a few lads going forward, and we just seem to have defended, really well the start of the season. And as you say, 6 goals in, I think it's 14 actually, if you include the cup, because there's been 3 clean sheets in the cup.
Right.
So we're happy with it, but you'll not get me getting carried away. Yeah, so it's one game at a time. Obviously, we've got a huge one against Raw Youth this weekend, and hopefully we can, play well, get a result, and move on with it.
Of course, you have been in this situation before. We were front runners, and then the injury struck, and things fell away at the end. So I completely understand you being sanguine about it.
Yeah, but we were in a similar situation last year as well, and we got home. So every year is different. Different teams who were chasing, different team that we've got, characters and whatnot. So yeah, 2 years ago we had a big lead, and we did get injuries, but also we stopped playing well. And the first defeat that you get always, it's how you react. And I think it took us 4 or 5 weeks really to process it. We lost 3 and 5 at that point. So we're under no illusions. We got to keep winning. We got to keep playing well, and then we'll be okay. But as soon as we start thinking that we've cracked this and cracked that, that's always your downfall, I think.
For sure. Now, one of the big changeover of players in the off-season was Jake Reesby going to Western Pride, been replaced by Brendan White, and he's, of course, spearheading that amazing defence that you've got.
Yeah, look, Whitey's done well. McGowan come in and done well. I think experience at the backs probably helped us this year because we've got some good young defenders as well. But look, Jake Reesby had a really good season for us as well. So he got injured with 7 or 8 games to go, and just one of them things, But he'd had a good season, Jake. It was just probably it was maybe his time to make a change there, and that's what happened.
And of course, up the other end, you've got Pengelly, who's not racked up 15 goals already. So you're banging them in as well.
The 15, did he get that one the other day? Did he get given that own goal?
I think
stuff. Yeah, but his finishing in training's second to none. The first time I saw him in training, I couldn't believe how sharp he was in and around the box. So we just got to keep giving him chances. He doesn't put them all away, but if you keep giving them, it's going to go right from more times than it's not.
You've got Raw Youth this weekend. What are you expecting?
Good young side. I think it's the best Raw team that certainly we've faced in the 3 years in the MPL. I think it's the best Raw Youth team that most people have faced since the MPL started. A slightly older Raw Youth than what we were used to, certainly in that middle period of the season where some of the pros got like a 6 to 8 week rest in between the seasons. I don't know if that's going to happen. Certainly, it's not going to happen tomorrow. They're still playing. So, good side. We've watched them 4 or 5 times this year, obviously, because you get to watch games on MPL TV. Quick, get it down, play. Yeah, and if they got Cyrus playing up top, you got a striker who'll score goals as well. So you got to keep an eye on him. it'll be a really tough game.
Should be fascinating. That game is, of course, tomorrow night at 7:30 at AJ Kelly. Let's move on now to the subs bench.
Yep.
Been such a great success. Every time we, listen to a podcast or watch the shows on YouTube as it used to be, you've always got great guests on the show. What was the inspiration for putting it together?
I think I probably at the time was maybe listening to a podcast from back home called Under the Cosh, which effectively is two retired footballers, a comedian, and they used to get a different footballer on every week, and it was just good crack. Really enjoyed it, and I thought, it'd be nice to have something like that in the local game. There's plenty of, everyone's got stories, and everyone likes to talk about football, listen to people talking about football. So it was kind of born maybe out of that. And yeah, we set it up. We didn't have a comedian, so we were stuck with me, Tom, Dusty, and McNabb at the time. Nabby had to move for work, so I think we just thought when Nabby left, we don't really. When there's four of us plus a guest, it takes away like time from the guest, and just limits what you get to do. So we thought three of us was probably enough. And I think it's probably been the right decision. I don't think we really needed to make a decision to replace anyone. Definitely.
I mean, you find that TC and Dusty are probably pretty quiet during the episodes anyway. So to have another replacement, yes, certainly backs up your argument.
Yeah. They've got their own sort of friendship that's been quite a while, so they kind of banter off each other a bit. And then sometimes join forces against me and try and get us to say things I don't want to say. So if I had someone else like that, the 3-on-1 might be a little bit tough.
Just how did TC and Dusty get to be the ones that joined you? It seems odd.
Oh, I think I reached out to TC, obviously, because I had dealings with TC, and I knew he was good lad. I knew, he was quite popular, and you got to find someone who's popular because you want people to watch it. And he said, "Oh, it's Dusty." I said, "Look, we need someone else, I reckon." And he says, "Oh, what about Dusty?" And I didn't know Dusty at this point, but a couple of lads I did know, like Boydie and people like that at the start. Dusty's he's a funny guy, so we met at I want to say the Breakfast Creek Hotel one Sunday night. Might have been a Sunday night. Had a steak and a glass of wine or whatever. And we got on well, so that's where it started. I knew that McNabb would come on board because he's that type, but yeah, that's how it kind of started, really.
All right, now let's get to this week's episode with Dion Ray. Give us a brief overview as about it for those who perhaps aren't aware of what this episode is about.
All right. So Dion Raitt is a former teammate of mine from back home. I think, as I say in the episode, we shared 5 different dressing rooms together. Believe it or not, we were both nomads, and we kind of ended up the same club at the same time all the time. So I've known Dion since I was 18, I would say. Now, about 5 years ago, when this there was a spate of former professionals coming out with stories of sexual abuse at the hands of football coaches or scouts, predominantly in the 80s and the 90s. It was all coming out at this time. And I remember reading a particular article that Dion had shared on maybe Twitter or social media or something like that. I read the article, not realizing at the time it was about him. And I think I reached out to him. I said, is this you, or is this just one of the lads who were at the club with you? And he said, no, it was me. Like, so I've obviously followed the court case because it kind of got down to court proceedings and things like that. So I've followed it for about 5 years now. Go back about 2-3 months ago, there was a documentary in the UK called Football's Darkest Secret, which was about the first pros coming forward about it. It was a 3-part documentary on BBC. It was really, really well done. and all the victims were speaking on it, telling the story. Dion was on there, and he did a podcast back home a couple of months ago that I listened to, and the story, like when you hear it, it's really confronting. I know you've listened to it today, so you know you can hopefully back that up, but it's pretty confronting. And I reached out to him. I said, look, mate, just want to say like how brave you've been and stuff like that. I'm proud of you. If you want to come on and tell your story to a different audience, you know, you've got our platform, because no one knew this was going on in the UK 5-6 years ago. There's no reason to suggest it's not going on around the world. So, and he jumped on. He said, yeah, 100%, mate. If you think it might help one person, he says, I'm willing to do it. And so that's what we did. Really, we planned it a month out. You know, put together sort of the itinerary of the timeline. Sorry, of what I was aware of, and he said, yeah, we'll stick to that. It's about right. And as you've heard, he just he takes over. He just talks, tells a story, and you just let him run with it. Because I think it helps him as well. You know, anyone who's ever been through anything, it's good to talk. So yeah, hopefully, you know, we help him, and we might be able to help other people if anyone else has been through it.
It's quite clear that every time he tells it, there is a layer of relief that comes off him every time. You get that feeling, don't you?
Yeah, and look, the one thing I would say that keeps coming back, like, you know, people who I know from back home and my family have listened to it, and friends and teammates, and they all come back and say it's very matter of fact. And I agree. I think maybe that's because he's probably had to go through this process several times, maybe with police or safeguard officers, things like that. And so when you listen to him, he's very clear, he's very concise with what's going on. And yeah, I think he comes across brilliant. I mean, the three of us, we're just there to kind of prop him up a little bit and let him go. But yeah, he's the content for that particular episode is certainly, for me, the best one we've done.
Definitely, I have to agree with that. Now, one of the reasons why we're talking, and the whole purpose for you getting Dion on the show, is what if it has happened here? So I guess if there's someone who has listened to the show or is watching this now who has memories that it triggers or has been affected in any way, what's the plan of attack, Ben? What do we want them to do?
Well, first and foremost, it has happened to people. We've in 4 days since it's been out, we've had messages from people, so we know it's happened. To the degree that Dion's been through, I wouldn't know, but incidents have happened. We've got some links that we're going to put out tomorrow with a couple of grabs that we've got from the video side of things from that interview. We'll put links out, so if anyone does want to talk to someone, they can get in touch with people who are, I suppose, trained to deal with this kind of situation. They can also, if they just want someone to listen to them and get in touch with me, I'm happy to speak. Dion said that anyone can get in touch with him, we'll put in touch with them. But yeah, it's definitely happened. And it's it's just a case of, if people need support, we can try and help them as best we can.
Great. Good stuff. I think we need to leave it there, Ben. And we're recording this on Thursday night, so we'll probably put it out tonight. So the links will come out tomorrow.
Yeah, Friday.
If they're not there straight away, they will be there shortly. So maybe bookmark the page or something like that. Ben, great talking to you. Best of luck for Power for the rest of the season. You're going great guns, and we'll see if you can get your side over the line.
Cheers, mate. Ta.
All right. Good on you, Ben.
See you, mate. Ta.
Cheers.